thing to me, he kept the rights to some kind of wonderful.
As unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, wanted to thank a few people that helped us get this all together. And it seems like everything came together really well, which is not always the case. So thank you for being a part of it. So Susie Dean, Patty Hamilton, and Sherry Hobbs all contributed to all of this organizing. And I'd like to recognize our board members who are here and former inductees. So we do have Bob Thompson, who was inducted in 2015. He's right out there. And John Ellison, who is
He was behind us.
2015 also.
He's behind him.
There he is. Hey, John.
Hey, John. Wave to your people.
He's waving to his people. Okay, and for everybody who's on our board, I don't want to forget anyone. Bob Brunner is our board chair. You all know him from the black and white screen. He was on TV when it was just black and white. And I see Bob Thompson. You already applauded for him. Mary Hunt, she's back there. Josh Barrett, John Meisner, Pat Donahoe, Laura Alkiri. I'm afraid I'm going to forget someone. Okay, but everybody, give them a hand. Oh, Melinda Meisner. Okay. Oh, Justin Southern back there. Okay. Wow. This is a stellar turnout. Okay, and also wanted to recognize John Nelson, who you all know from Budget Tapes for many, many, many years. Right. So he is now going to be working at our museum every other Friday, and then soon every Friday. So stop in and see John. Okay. And who else have I forgotten? I don't know. So, and then also wanted to, most importantly, thank our sponsors. Capital Ford. And Samantha Shuck with Capital Ford is here, and she's going to come up and say a couple of words. And her mom cleaned my teeth for 25 years, Tina. It's a small state.
Do you know her?
Never met her before. It was Todd Judy, now it's Capital.
Oh, that's right.
It's a little tall. Thank you all so much for being here. This is a great event that Capital Ford is just thrilled to be a part of. If you all are looking for a good deal, again, of course, come and see us. But most importantly, we're so happy to be a part of this, be able to sponsor something like this. It's a great turnout, a great event, and we hope to be a part of it in the future. Thank you all.
Yeah. We don't feed people and tell them, teach them how to read, but we do something that we like to think is important, and it's wonderful when people recognize that. So also DePiro, Simmons, McGinley, and Bastris law firm. Okay. And Barrett. No Barrett. Okay. Steve Williams from Huntington, the mayor of Huntington. He's not here, but he wanted to be a sponsor. And Natalie Tennant. Where's Natalie? She was here a minute ago. Oh, there she is. Okay, great. She's been a long-time friend, and we have a song, we used to play Charlie T from WV, and we used to change it Natalie from WV. So also Patty Hamilton, who I also mentioned before, and the Capital Market. And this is really, it took us a while to figure out a venue that we wanted to use for this event, and this really is, I can't imagine a more perfect place. So we'd like to thank them, and Chris, I think, is here someplace, who's been helping us all day. So come here a lot. And then WTSQ, they helped us on air. Okay, so I think now is the time when we're going to announce the inductees for next year. And the ceremony will be almost a year from today. It'll be April 12th, I believe, to 2025. Okay, we do 2 living inductees and 2 deceased. And there may be a 3rd living, but we don't know yet. So,
Okay.
Jeff Stevens, okay? You all know Jeff? Okay, so I'm gonna read these little bios that I put together, and hopefully they're not too long. But I'm sure many of you remember the Stevens Brothers Band. They were a fixture around town, and even then it was obvious that the group was destined for success on a larger stage. And Ron just reminded me that it was Bob Thompson who started teaching the Stevens, Jeff and Warren, I think, guitar. So it's kind of nice to be in a small state. So, and I remember opening for the Stevens Brothers at a very, very early regatta. So Jeff is a multi-platinum singer, songwriter, and producer. And his career officially started at age 9 when he and his brother Warren entered a talent contest and won first place. Eventually, the brothers and cousin Terry Dotson formed Jeff Stevens and the Bullets. And that group signed to Atlantic Records. His songwriting took off in the mid-'80s when he and Dotson co-wrote the singles Atlanta Burned Again Last Night and Sweet Country Music for the band Atlanta. After the Bullets broke up in 1990, Jeff wrote a string of hits for artists including John Anderson, Black Hawk, Alabama, and Tracy Byrd. George Strait scored #1 hits with a pair of Jeff's songs, and in 2004, Tim McGraw had a #1 hit with his song Back When. For nearly a decade, Jeff has been co-writing hits and producing numerous releases for Luke Bryan. Anybody remember the Stevens Brothers? I do. Okay, and the second living inductee is the Valentinos, and kind of slash the Womack brothers. So this is Friendly Womack Jr., that's his name, Friendly, and his dad's name was Friendly, Sr. Curtis Womack, Bobby Womack, Harry Womack, and Cecil Womack. Okay. So the Womack family is one of West Virginia's most important musical dynasties. Although Cleveland-born Bobby is the most famous, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2009. The family hails from North Fork, deep in McDowell County, which is also where John Ellison is from, where John went. So originally known as the Womack Brothers, the Valentinos were a Cleveland-based family R&B group that recorded from the late 50s through the mid-70s. They started out singing at their father, Pastor Friendly Womack Sr.'s church. Then they toured with the Staple Singers, and they had to stand on boxes to reach the microphones because they didn't want to adjust the microphones between sets. The Womacks opened for Sam Cooke Soul Stirrers, and Sam Cooke was immediately drawn to them, signed them on his SAR label, and dubbed them the Valentinos, and kind of changed them from gospel to secular music, which was a big deal back then for them, and took them under his wing. The group's 1962 release, Looking for Her Love, became a Billboard Top 10 R&B hit and sold more than 2 million copies. On the strength of that song, the group went on its first secular tour, opening for James Brown. And I also read someplace that they were so young that the Womacs and the Staples daughters all shared a bed when they went on tour. That's how little they were. The group's 1962 release, Looking for a Love, became a Billboard Top 10 R&B hit and sold more than, oh wait a second, I already said that, sorry. A number of their R&B singles later became major hits for other artists, including It's All Over Now, which the Rolling Stones covered, Looking for a Love, which was a hit for Jay Giles' band. And Bobby had major solo releases and, as a guitarist, backed up many artists, including Ray Charles and Aretha Franklin. And Friendly Womack is the lone surviving brother. He's in his 80s. But as we know from Bob Thompson and John Ellison, that age don't mean a thing. So Friendly will be up here and performing, and we have some interesting possibilities for people to perform and present. Okay, and the two deceased inductees. First is Cameron Lavelle Mullins. And Cam was a Charleston native. He's a multi-instrumentalist, arranger, composer, and conductor. His arrangement clients included West Virginia. This is a long list, but I'm going to read part of it just because you'll get the idea of what a heavyweight he was. His arrangement clients included West Virginia Music Hall of Fame inductee Connie Smith, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Jerry Lee Lewis, Joan Baez, Bobby Vinton, Al Hirt, Pete Fontaine, Brenda Lee, Perry Como, Chet Atkins, J.J. Cale, Tom T. Hall, and there's more than that. So, Cam went to Stonewall Jackson and was in the high school band, and after high school he moved to New York, where he cut his teeth in clubs and got an invaluable education at after-hours clubs. Returning to Charleston in the late 40s, he formed the Cam Lavelle Orchestra, often described as Charleston's newest sensation. The group played at dances and functions at venues like the Casa Loma. Anybody remember the Casa Loma? It's kind of before my time. And the Steakhouse Annex in Kanawha City. That sounds like a place I'd go to. In the mid-50s, Cam played trumpet and trombone in Woody Herman's Thundering Herd after Herman heard him performing with guitarist Hank Garland and vibraphonist Gary Burton. His first notable arranging project included Ray Price's 1970 million-selling LP For the Good Times. He also arranged and wrote the title track for Price's #1 LP, I Won't Mention It Again, which was the Country Music Association's Album of the Year in 1971. Cam was also named Billboard's Country Arranger of the Year in 1972. So Cam's daughter, Karen, drove up from Nashville to be here. And where is she?
Right here. Right here.
Oh, there she is. Okay. So Karen's going to come up and just say a couple words. Oh, and while she's coming up here, she told me a really interesting fact. So you all know about the Golden Delicious apple from West Virginia and Clay County and all that, right? Yeah. Well, that tree was on Karen's great-grandfather's farm. Every Golden Delicious apple came from that tree.
That's right.
Think about it.
I can't take credit for the apple tree, but I'm very proud of that also. I'm just here to say thank you to the Hall of Fame, the board of directors, everyone involved for the induction of my dad. He would be extremely proud and honored for this recognition, and so is our family. So we're so looking forward to next April, where we can come and make it official. So I just say West Virginia always holds a place in my heart, because all my relatives are from here. My great-grandparents, my parents, aunts, uncles, cousins. So it's always like coming back home when I'm here. So again, thank you everyone. Thanks for the hall. It's great that everybody's out supporting the hall. And thank you, the great state of West Virginia.
So this is one of the things that we like to do and hope to do is reconnect people with their home state. And I think that happened with a number of people. It happened with John Ellison, I think.
Yeah.
Did it? He comes back here every time he can, or we ask him. And it happened to Bill Withers too, who, after he was inducted in 2007, he came to 4 or 5 of our ceremonies and would just show up and say, "What do you want me to do?" It doesn't get any better than that, believe me. So the final deceased inductee is Daniel Johnston. And the short story is Daniel Johnston was a singer, songwriter, and artist who garnered a strong cult following among alt and indie rock groups and fans. But as usual, the full story is much more complex. Daniel Johnston was born in Sacramento, California, but his formative years were spent in Chester, West Virginia, and Hancock County. He attended Oak Glen High School in Hancock County, and in the late 70s began recording songs on a boombox. Throughout his life, he spent extended periods in psychiatric institutions and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which ended up giving his music an innocent and childlike quality. After moving to Austin, he recorded cassettes of his music and passed them out to people on the street, which attracted the attention of the local music press. His reputation grew when he was featured in a 1985 episode of the MTV program The Cutting Edge. Soon, Johnston was a singer-songwriter of choice of the alternative and underground rock scene and was championed by members of Nirvana, Tom Waits, Beck, and Sonic Youth. None other than Kurt Cobain was frequently photographed wearing a t-shirt featuring Johnston's artwork. His mystique continued to spread with the release of the documentary The Devil and Daniel Johnston, which received a Director's Award at the 2005 Sundance Film Festival. Through the next few years, Johnston toured extensively worldwide, and his artwork was shown in galleries in London, Liverpool, New York, and California. He passed away in 2019. There you go. And we can also say with pretty much certainty that Ray Benson, who is the founder and auteur of Asleep at the Wheel, will be co-hosting the ceremony next April. And so he'll be, Asleep at the Wheel started in Paw Paw in the 70s, and Ray's anxious to come back. So, and he will be receiving our Spirit Award. Okay, and now, Mr. Ellison.